Good morning, everyone. This is Landon with Bolivar Live today. David's out of the office, so I figured I would step in and do the video ourselves. I got Allison with me here, and we talked about what the whole home maintenance program looks like. We've talked about, introducing you now to the Bolivar Live community about what how our workflow is kind of coming in. But let's talk about how that flow actually works from when that customer makes the initial contact to that first meeting, permitting. I know that you've been doing a lot with that here lately, and then when we start the job. So let's just say that XYZ customer calls in or emails in and they want to set up the initial meeting with us to talk about their future home.
So a lot of times we do have prospective clients call Landon directly, and that's great. We want you to give him a call, but at that time he'll tell our customers or prospective clients to give me a call or shoot me a text message to get you on the schedule. And we do that for the main reason is so that we can make sure that Landon is able to get you on his schedule and give you the time that you deserve to talk about your potential project. In a typical day, he's on the phone or walking a house all day long. And so if you catch him on the phone, he's got his mind.
I typically don't have a piece of paper to write it down anyway, so.
Right. So we want to make sure that we're scheduling a good amount of time for him to talk through what you're looking for with your potential vacation home, new home, full-time residence here on Bolivar Peninsula. So, I'll get you on the schedule for speaking with him.
And I think that's probably been the biggest change that we've made over the last, year when we've tried to do this is before it was me trying to schedule everything out and I've got a text message and I think one day I counted up, there was like 84 phone calls in the day. Not to mention all the text messages and 50 plus emails.
Right.
So being able to have that avenue where we go through to be able to get it on schedule and be able to get everything set up, I think that's been our biggest achievement so far to date as far as this new transition is making sure that communication, that schedule goes on. So we get it on schedule. We've got Tuesday at 8:30 that we're going to do a Zoom call. How does that look? How does that work?
A lot of times I'll be on the Zoom call taking notes, being his administrative assistant at that point, making sure I follow up with Landon on anything that y'all talked about that he needed to take care of, whether it be getting in touch with a draftsman if you don't have somebody in mind.
We have multiple of those that we talk to, and
right.
I even say, like, sometimes I feel like certain customers' work would fit better with a certain draftsman or an architect. We got this architect out of Galveston right now that sent over a couple of blueprints, and man, she does some really, really detailed work, and it's really good stuff. So we're going to start utilizing that a little bit more. But once we get to, that drawing or draftsman part of it, we get to like the meeting and the nuts and bolts, and we kind of get the plans. We get the bid process rolling. You've been dealing a lot with Aaron and Franklin and a lot with the county as far as permitting. Explain that process, because it used to be like a 4-week process with Aaron and Franklin and a 3-day process or a 14-day process with the county, which is now extended out because they're going all online stuff. Now it's taking 2+ months, 2 to 2.5 months now. And explain kind of how that process works once we get blueprints back and where we go from there.
So there's a lot of attention to detail that and staying on top of communication with both entities to make sure that we're satisfying the requirements that they're putting forth for both Prestige and for the client. And so we don't want that communication to be missed with it falling in Landon's lap. So if it's something with scheduling inspections with Aaron and Franklin or staying on top of windstorm engineering, make sure we have those requirements in with Aaron and Franklin. That's something that I'm helping out with. Whenever we start the permitting process, I am getting with you as the customer to get the land acknowledgement form signed, to get any proof of property ownership that we have to provide to the county. So I'm the one that's in contact with you to get the tedious paperwork done. And then once we have that permit, it's back in his hands.
And it's all those notes. And now, like I said, everything used to be paper. We would scan it in and email it in. And But now everything's done online, and you're having to load those documents up, and then they're sending notes back. And, you know, David and I talked about the other day about what all it is that you're doing. And I think that that's probably, the transition couldn't have happened at a better time because of the amount of communication that's coming through email. And I just don't have time to sit down and stop my day to be able to respond back to this, you know, one question email. And then, you know, so we get through permitting process and we start the building process. You know, we've made the selection sheet now, and we're going through those processes there, and you know, whether it be a designer that they have, or whether it be they're picking out their own stuff, or we're helping them pick it out. The selection sheet that you created the other day was just great, because you're able to go room by room, exterior, interior, tile, paints, all those different things. And so that makes it really easy. But that's on what, Google Sheets?
It is, it is getting on Google Sheets. And that's one of the things that I have done to help Landon out, is to help streamline some of his processes. He's not great with technologies. So he's a Microsoft Word guy. I am, let's get it into something that the customer can go in and input the information, and it comes back to us in a live document. That way, if something needs to change along the way, they can change it on their end, and we're getting the notification on the change on our end, so that there's nothing missed.
And and David got on to me about this years ago, but something that we do is put everything on Dropbox. And so that's the one thing of technology that I am good at, is figuring out how to get on Dropbox and finding my files and being able to access that at all times, which makes it good because it's all on the phone. But no, I think that as we go through this process, and we'll talk about it some more with David when he gets back on, and we'll go in depth into the process a little bit more. We can really streamline the situation now. We're really working towards making this an easier pathway for our customers, and building these homes, because as we're getting these blueprints in, they're becoming larger and larger homes. You know, we're starting to see a lot more custom work pop up and come in, and people reaching out, and so that's promising for down here on the peninsula. You know, you're starting to see a lot more construction going on, which has been something that's been a little bit in a lull the last 6 to 8 months. So as these new potential customers come in, I'm glad that we're actually getting all of this information in this streamlined process going, and we'll continue to work on that. So,
and I want to just jump in real quick. I did a social media post a couple of weeks back for Prestige, and it was titled "Small Business Big Builder." And that's one of the things that we have really tried to do this year, is to make it, we're still a small business. We're still a family-owned small business, but we are a professional home builder as well. And so we really wanted to bring that to light, that we're not doing things like the mom and pop shop. We are doing things as a big home builder would do, but with still the personalization that Landon is able to provide.
Yeah, so, all right, well, we're going to sign off. I got to remember exactly how David does this.
I got the
have a great day. God bless, and goodbye.
Video equipment is sponsored by Crystal Beach Decor and More, located at 1959 Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas, and Beachy Beatnik Boutique and Jewelry, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas. Thank you to these two businesses for being our 2025 video equipment sponsor for Bolivar Live.